Thank you so much. If you happen to be here on YouTube, checking this out, watching this live, I'm grateful for you. If you're watching this on the YouTube replay, well, thanks for being here on the replay. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for all of that. And I'm glad you're here. All right. So if you are on YouTube, you got a question or a comment you want to ask, you can ask it in the comments. And I've got a question that has come in that I do want to answer today. And that question is about using LinkedIn messaging. So we are going to do that, cover that today. And I've got some notes to share with you. But I will also answer any other questions that you have. If you are watching this, if you are here on YouTube watching this, and you're watching this either live or on the replay, what you're watching is a broadcast of a open Q&A session that I do once a week. It is predominantly attended on a Zoom call, which is why you can see the Zoom logo here in the lower corner of the screen, predominantly attended there. If you're interested in attending this thing via Zoom and then also seeing me 3 other times during the week where we focus on 3 things, I'll tell you about those 3 things in a minute, you can just visit my calendar page, which is prouty.me. I'll put that in the chat. Yeah, 4 times a week, I get together with the coolest group of people. And I would say that even if they weren't all here on the Zoom. But 4 times a week, I get together with this really cool group of people. Should I shout some of them out? I'll shout out Darcy. That dude, you just hang out with that dude and you get smarter. You know, people like Bev, people like Trev, Bev and Trev. If you're writing a Dr. Seuss book, they're your 2 main characters. I found that to be hilarious, by the way. I don't know if you did, but I did. Anyway, we hang out 4 times a week in a mastermind and we get stuff done. And Eileen is here as well. Jay Paul is here. Jeremy's here. Jennifer is here. Jennifer, can I publicly just shout you out real quick and tell you how your videos are phenomenal. The stuff you're doing, you are doing the work and it is showing, right? And I love that. I really do love it. In fact, I was hanging out with my kids yesterday evening, and we were just kind of just scrolling through. I like to show them educational real videos. So like we were looking at how you can take a carrot and you can like massage it. You can take a carrot and put it on the counter and like hit it a couple of times, and the inside of the carrot pops out. Who knew that you could do that? But the carrot is made of 2 parts. So we're watching that, and Jennifer, one of your videos pops into the stream, and I'm like, that's Jennifer. And they're like, you know her? I'm like, yeah. And my 10-year-old goes, is she a celebrity? I'm like, well, she kind of is. She kind of is. And so they were asking all about you because your video showed up in stream. And so I love it when people do the work and you're doing the work and you're doing great. So I'm really, really, really honored by that. Okay, let's get to work. I want to answer the question. Somebody asked me the question, how do I do better with LinkedIn messaging? People are terrified of LinkedIn messaging. So we're going to cover that today, and I'm just going to go through all of the important points for you. I actually created some notes that I'm going to share with you on this as well. So let me get those notes up, and I will share these notes in the Zoom. You should be prepared to take some notes as well. You're going to want to know this stuff. So let me find those notes. I'll share that screen. I just like, I'll just narrate for you everything I'm doing here. Okay, here are the notes. Right there. Let me bring that over here. And if you have questions on YouTube, you put those things in the chat. You folks that are here on the Zoom, you can put your questions there as well. All right. And folks that are here on the Zoom, I'm just going to use, you know what? I'm just going to put something in the chat for you guys. Just real quick. Pardon me, YouTube. I'll be right back with you. Just something in the chat. Watch. Okay. I just popped something in the Zoom chat for you guys, just as a quick little note for you. I'm going to share my screen with the Zoom call right now and the YouTube. There we go. And let me just turn the music off in the background so that that doesn't record on the recording and then get me you know what happens when you have music playing in the background and you record? is that you get a copyright notice and then your video doesn't go anywhere. So we don't want that. All right, so today I'm going to be answering this question that came in. I kind of rephrased the question just a little bit. So the question that was asked, how to use LinkedIn messages to get interested leads and faster sales? And I think a lot of people go on to LinkedIn because that's what they want to do, is they want to get leads and they want to get sales. There's a whole lot more going on inside of LinkedIn than just getting leads and sales. And I'm going to talk about a lot of that today in this training. But also, it's really important that we use all of our social medias to grow our businesses. If you're watching this and you have a business and you're on social media, but you're not using social media to grow your business and you're not using it in the right way to grow your business, then it's kind of a waste of time. And you're kind of just putting stuff out onto the socials that doesn't really contribute to your growth or your business's growth. So first thing that I want to say to you is just a quick mindset shift. Every time you show up on social media, your intention should be to grow your business. You should be doing something that's going to help grow your business. We can use LinkedIn messaging to do that, but we do it in a way that's a little bit different than we see most people doing it. Because what do we see most people doing? They get on LinkedIn, they connect with you, and then they start slamming you. Sorry for making that loud noise. They start slamming you with a sales pitch. Nobody wants that. In fact, people hate that. How many times have you been on LinkedIn and you're just slammed with a sales pitch that is not customized for you, that doesn't have any affinity towards you or what you do, and it just feels disingenuous? It feels like spray and pray, where they're just spraying out this sales message, hoping that they can get some kind of response. You end up feeling like, why did I even connect with this person? So I'm telling you, I'm talking to you directly. The person that is just slamming with the sales pitch on LinkedIn, I'm talking to you directly right now. People hate you. And I don't want you to be hated. I want the opposite of that. I want people to love you, and I want people to be seeking out you in what you do. So if you're slamming people with the sales pitch, you're hated. If you follow the guidance here, people are going to love you, and they're going to be reaching out to you to become your clients. That's the whole point of this. Now, it had to be said, right? It had to be said. Somebody just said in the chat, even if it's me, I don't want to be, even if it's for me, I don't want to be sold to. Yeah, and that's very common. Even if it's something that you want, somebody just starts slamming you with that sales pitch. Just nobody wants that. All right, so I don't want you to be hated. I want people to love you. I want people to see you as an expert, as an authority, somebody they can trust, and I want them reaching out to you. This plan is going to help you do that. So first point, why should I care about LinkedIn messaging? Well, LinkedIn is still a growing platform. LinkedIn has been very slow in its growth trajectory, but it's still a growing platform. I think quarter over quarter, and this was maybe last year's numbers, quarter over quarter, we saw about 400% growth. Every month, every quarter, every 3 months. So LinkedIn, still an emerging, growing platform. And in 2024, LinkedIn made a lot of very important changes, making it a better place to show up to generate business for B2C and for B2B. And the changes that they made were the result of some things that happened years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when people started using LinkedIn more like Facebook or Instagram. And the people who were there on LinkedIn to do business didn't like that. So in surveys and in questioning, LinkedIn discovered that people are there to do business. They are not interested in your ice cream or your breasts. So you can put that, sorry, it's got to be said, take that stuff and put it somewhere else. All right? Because that's what was happening on LinkedIn. And it had to be said. Nobody's going to say it, but I'm going to say it. That's not what we want. That's not what anybody wants on LinkedIn. And the people who do want it on LinkedIn, they're not your clients, right? You professional business people, they're not your clients. So save that thirst, which is what they call it. You're thirsty for attention. Put that on some other platform, and let's focus and get to work on LinkedIn. Look, somebody's got to say it, so I'm going to be the one to say it. People are on LinkedIn to do business. And while I can only give you very generic advice here, because this is a video and clearly it's a recording and I'm not sitting here talking directly to you, if you would like some personalized advice, into how you can show up on LinkedIn, just go to prouty.me. That's my last name.me. That'll take you to apply to be on my calendar. A couple of asterisks there. You've got to already have a business and you've got to already be making some money, and you just want to make more money. If you don't have a business, I can't really help you. If you haven't made money, we can have a nice conversation, but it's not going to give you a lot of value. And if you don't want to make more money, you're going to be bored on the call. So have a business, have made some money, want to make more money, go to prouty.me. And I would love to chat with you for a few minutes. I might even tell you about my masterminds and what it's like to actually work with me. The real value of LinkedIn messaging in getting interested leads is in the kind of things that people do on LinkedIn. LinkedIn did a bunch of surveys in their users, and the overwhelming sentiment is that people show up on LinkedIn because they want to be better at what they do, or they want to discover how to be better at what they do. So your professional profile of record, that's what LinkedIn calls it, should be optimized to help your perfect prospect get better at what they do. And I know that might sound really complex, so let's simplify it. You have a perfect prospect who you want to turn into a perfect lead, who will ultimately become a perfect client, and then ultimately, beyond that, a promoter of you and your service. That's what we're looking for. Unknown to known to client to promoter. That person has very specific needs that you can help them with, and where you can help them be better at what they do. That's your service. Every single part of your professional profile of record, from your profile on LinkedIn to the content that you produce, to the connections that you make, to the groups that you're in, and the conversations that you have, should be optimized to help that perfect client get better at what they do. If you're able to do that, and you're able to do it across LinkedIn, including on LinkedIn messaging, you're going to do very well on the platform. You will have people stepping out of the shadows wanting to work with you, versus the other approach, which it seems like everybody does, which is just hammer with the sales pitch and hammer with the sales pitch. You don't have to do that anymore. We can get people coming to you. And if you're curious about optimizing your profile of record, your professional profile of record, all you have to do is hop on prouty.me. Again, that's my last name.me. That's going to bring you to a page where you can apply to be on my calendar. I can't meet with everybody. So that's why I say have a business already, have made a little bit of money, and want to make more and want to change more lives. If that's you, then this would be a very valuable call for you. You're going to get a ton out of it. And I'll even tell you what it's like to be with these really cool people who are in my mastermind and get the benefit of hanging out with me and hanging out with each other 4 times a week. Now, the next point is the quality of your connections matter more than ever before. The lion is dead. Do you know what that means? A lion is someone who's called a LinkedIn open networker. That's what it stands for. I'm probably going to offend some lions right now. Not the lions that are in the zoo. I would never offend them. But the people who call themselves LinkedIn open networkers, that is antique at this point. That is something that we did years ago when you just wanted to build your network as big as possible. You would accept, a LinkedIn open networker would accept any connection. But it doesn't work that way anymore, especially with the changes that we saw this year. If you accept any connection from anyone, LinkedIn has no idea who your perfect prospect and ultimately your perfect client is, because you've accepted your mom and your cousins and the people that you used to work with who would never be your clients, your landscaper, and the person who details your car. You've connected with a few of your perfect prospects or perfect clients, but LinkedIn doesn't know, because you haven't optimized who your connections are. So if you're a LinkedIn open networker, take a breath. And if I've offended you, sorry, you're going to have to learn how to take it. You'll have to grow up at some point and learn how to take guidance. It's not the case that being a LinkedIn open networker is going to help you anymore. Still do it. I mean, you can feel free and be my guest to accept every connection possible. But just remember, you can't put your connections in the bank. What you put in the bank is the revenue you generate from your perfect prospects. And that's who you should be connecting with. I think I had to get a little bit strong in my messaging there. So take some control over who you're connecting with and make sure you're optimizing your connections, because LinkedIn examines who your connections are and uses that information to decide where to push your content. So if you want your content in front of more of your perfect audience, then these are the people you should be connected with. But moreover, these are the people you should be sending LinkedIn messages to. So let's get to the part where we actually talk about sending those LinkedIn messages. A lot of people ask me for a script in what they should send to the people that they're connecting with on LinkedIn. I'm not going to give you a script because you're a human. You learned how to be a human from the day you were born. And you learned how to communicate with people from the moment that you could speak. And even before then, you've spent your entire life learning how to communicate with people. There's no need for the script in your LinkedIn connection requests and in your LinkedIn messaging. Moreover, people can tell when you're using a script. Even if they don't look at it and say, ah, this is a script, there's just this weird feeling that they get about you. And so this brings us to the hard conversation of, yeah, you're going to have to do a little bit of work for this to work. But what I recommend you do is that you humanize your approach. Talk like a human to another human, right? We do this all the time. You talk to people every single day. At least I hope you do. You know how to talk to other people. So stop being afraid that you're going to say the wrong thing or use the wrong words and start embracing that you're just talking to another person. When you release the attachment to the sale, it becomes easier. And you release the attachment to the sale by showing up on LinkedIn messaging and not selling. Instead, show up and help people. As we mentioned earlier, people show up on LinkedIn because they want to get better at what they do. Well, if you can help them get better at what they do, show up in messaging and do that. Lose the attachment to the sale. You'll lose all of the nerves and all of the hesitancy to use LinkedIn messaging. You won't need to rely on a script, but instead, you will look at your prospect's profile, you'll find something about it that inspires you, and you'll break the ice with a conversation about that level of inspiration. What a great way to communicate with others. Does that sound different than everything else that's going on out there? It does, because it is. And this is the best way to use LinkedIn messaging to get interested prospects, interested leads who turn into very easy sales. Why? Because you led with education. You gave them what they wanted on the platform. You helped them get better at what they do. And you did so with the expectation of nothing in return because you lost the attachment to the sale. The sale is going to happen. But you know what? It's not going to happen in messaging. No one's going to stand there and go, oh my gosh, I just got this message. Hey, everybody, come on and take a look. I just got a message on LinkedIn. Oh, look, they're selling a $10,000 program. Get my checkbook. No, it doesn't work that way. You've got to build the relationship. You've got to nurture the relationship. You've got to give people what they want. You can do it all through LinkedIn messaging as long as you act like a human. And by the way, there are no shortcuts here, right? You've got to do the work. So the more personal your approach, the better you're going to be. When you offer something of value with the expectation of nothing in return, you are leading with generosity. And yes, it takes work. Don't be a crybaby. Do the work. If you want big results, you've got to do the work. No one is sitting around with piles of money just showing up at their house. You've got to do the work. So stop being a crybaby about it and start doing the work. And if you want to understand how to do this with precision, and you want to know how to do this for your unique business and your unique situation, just hop on my calendar, go to prouty.me. I'm not going to yell at you on the call. You know what? Maybe I will. Go to prouty.me and hop on my calendar. Let me show you how to customize this to you in your unique situation. Remember the asterisks here. Have a business, have made a little bit of money, and want to make more money and actually help people. Those 4 things, you got those things, you're going to get a lot out of this call. If you don't have those things, it's probably not going to help you out all that much. You'll be entertained by our conversation, but it wouldn't be a good use of your time. So then, now that you've started the conversation, you've connected with someone, you found something of interest and of inspiration in their profile, you've commented on it, you've got a little bit of back and forth going on. Here's what I recommend for follow-up without being a creeper, because that happens on LinkedIn as well. I have many private clients who, engage on LinkedIn. They show up on LinkedIn, and all of a sudden they're inundated with it's men inundated with fake women profiles. It's women inundated with real dude profiles who are just hitting on them and trying to take things in a really weird direction. Look, this is LinkedIn. It's business. If you don't have the self-awareness, right? If you don't have the self-awareness for what you're doing in your messaging, maybe get off the platform. There's other platforms for you. A good test here is if you could send the message to your mom and she'd be okay with it, you're probably okay. If you wouldn't send it to your mom, you might want to do a little introspection. So how do you follow up with people? Because now you've connected and you've started the conversation. The first thing we want to do is provide them with something of value that's going to do what? That's right. It's a test for understanding. What are we going to do first? We're going to help them get better at what they do. So one of the things that I would recommend, maybe come up with a quick tip or a quick sheet of tips or a checklist or something that's going to help them. And in your messaging, all you have to do is say something like, hey, I just created this checklist. It's going to help you do 1, 2, and 3. If you'd like it, let me know. I'll send it over to you. They say yes, grab their email address, send it over to them. Now you've got a communication going on in two different modalities. You've got the LinkedIn messaging and you've got the email messaging going on. And you can pop them into your email with their permission. You can pop them into your email. And I would get their permission by saying something like, hey, I'll send it over to you, as well as some other training that's definitely going to help you. They give you permission. Now you can start emailing them as well. So now we're communicating with them effectively on LinkedIn, and we're communicating with them through email. So they're starting to get more impressions of us. And if we're leading with education and helping them get better at what they do, they're going to reach out to you. Can you now see how we're shifting you from someone that people hate? Because not you, if you've gotten this far in the video, pretty sure it's not you, but we're shifting that hate of direct pitch, of slamming people with a sales pitch, and we're moving to something that we're giving them what they want so that they're starting to move towards us because we demonstrate expertise, we demonstrate authority, and we show them that they can trust us because we're giving them things that help them. So that's the first essential follow-up step, is providing them with some value. And you've got to have a new level of self-awareness when you're doing this, because if you don't keep it professional, you're going to look creepy and you're going to get people disconnecting from you. And I don't want that. So we're only going to follow up with people who communicate with us, who engage in conversation with us. These are people who are indicating that they're interested in what we do. It doesn't mean that we disconnect from everybody else. We just save them and maybe tap them on the shoulder in a couple of months. But if they don't respond to your messages, it means they're not interested. So stop trying, stop wasting your time, and move on to the people who do express interest in what you do. And so we just personalize some follow-up. How often should you follow up? It's going to be different for everybody. But I would say once a week is probably going to be enough. Come up with valuable things that can help them and position it to them through Messenger, and then move them to email where you can share it with them via email. Now, if you had to do one thing, and if you had to start somewhere, it would be this. Before you start sending messages to anybody on LinkedIn, find out the biggest questions that your perfect client is asking. You should know what this is. You're hearing these on your sales calls, or maybe you're seeing these in the comments to your social content. Because if you're this far in the business, you probably have a business and you've had sales calls and you know the questions that people are asking. Catalog those questions, write them all down somewhere, and use all of the modalities to start answering those questions so that you're creating a professional profile of record that is specifically geared towards answering the questions and helping people get better. So that now when you're communicating with people on the platform using messaging, you can direct them to your content. If you don't want to create, say, a checklist and get their email address, you could say, hey, I just created this article. I just wrote this great article that's going to help you do 1, 2, and 3. Here's a link to it. Hope you check it out. Let me know what you thought of it, or if you have any questions. So now we're following up with people through messaging, and we're leading with education all at the same time. That is the most important thing I can tell you to do. Now, if you struggle with teaching people, and many people do, totally get it. I used to struggle with teaching people too, but then I went to college for it and I learned how to do it. I'd love to show you some simple tactics that you can use when you're teaching people and when you're leading with education as well. And if you go to prouty.me, that's my last name.me, and get on my calendar, I can show you how to do that. But again, have a business, and want to make more money and want to change lives. If you don't want those things, I can't really help you out. So just go to Prouty.me and I will see you on that call. Now, the final thing that we'll talk about today is, should you track your LinkedIn messaging? I like to track things. I am a big fan of measuring things and growing things. So I would say, yes, you should track your messaging. We're going for quality over quantity, so it's not going to be terribly difficult to track your messaging in this case, because you're really focused on no longer being a lion, but being somebody who more just connects with the people who are exactly right for you. So I would say create a Google Sheet, and I would track these things. I would track the person's name. I would track the first date that you communicated with them, when they connected with you. I would even paste in the first message that you sent to them. I would track how they responded and then how you follow up. Just try to keep it as simple as possible, but we want to see over time which messaging is working, which of our educational pieces that we're leading with is working, how people are responding, and what we can change. And there's probably a question in here that you're thinking, but I didn't put in here, which is, should I use video to send messages? I'm not sure. I don't know you, what you look like or how you appear on video. The possibility of looking pretty creepy is high there. So you've got to fit. That's one of those things where you maybe have to, don't ask your mom on this one because she loves you and she's not gonna tell you you look creepy. But you maybe make a video and send it to somebody that you don't know and then say, did I look creepy in that video? They'll tell you or not. So I'm not really sure on that one. I would say just start with the text messages. If you are someone who really wants to go full force with attracting clients from LinkedIn and exploring using video, exploring using all the different modalities in attracting those clients, just go to Prouty.me and say, Chris, just put me in your mastermind because I really want to be with a bunch of really cool people who meet 4 times a week and learn how to do this, because that's what we do. So there we go. That wraps up how to use LinkedIn messages to get more interested leads and faster sales. Because when you get these interested leads on calls, they're just going to be ready to close because they love you, because you helped them. And that's what it's all about. Thanks for hanging out with me in this quick training, and I'll see you in the next one. What do you think, guys? How'd that go? Somebody said in the chat, it's Friday. It's Friday, Chris. Hey, maybe I did. Maybe I did. Purge your stale connections. That's a great suggestion, Jeremy, to get rid of your connections that are stale. And yes, I still do that. So Jay Paul, since we're live on YouTube right now, I don't want to do the give away a ton of the secrets that we talk about in the mastermind. But yes, that strategy that you're mentioning in the chat right now, that is one to definitely. That's a non-negotiable. And in fact, check out the collab call from yesterday. We went about an hour into an advanced tactic on that. So they do work so well. And the advanced tactic that we did, I'll have that collab call. It's authored and ready to upload. So that collab call from yesterday will be available for you today. Go through that and it will definitely help you. Somebody in YouTube says, as a career coach, how can I get more clients with my recommendations that I have? That's a great question. And I'm going to try, I think it's Badmus is the person's name. So if you have recommendations, what I would do is in a way that is not, I got to figure out what camera to look in. It's this one. I would use those recommendations as a way of creating content that showcases the recommendation, but without it looking like you're bragging. So if somebody wrote a recommendation and the first sentence is, Badmus is the most amazing career coach I've ever worked with, just use that sentence and then direct all of the attention to your clients and say, it's not so much me as it is your ability to do the work. And then just write about how being a career coach is difficult because people's careers can be difficult to navigate. And the people that you coach are able to do a better job at navigating and when they actually do the work. So statement, gratitude, make it all about them. And I would create a lot of LinkedIn content about that. if you've got recommendations and you just do a single sentence, and let's say you have a 5 sentence recommendation, you've got 5 different opportunities. I would use all of the modalities as well. I would do it as a video. If somebody wrote you a nice recommendation, ask them to do a video with you, and then you can publish that video. You can write an article about the complexities of being a career coach or navigating your career, write a big article about that, and then sprinkle in some of those recommendations. I think I do that on my website. I don't know where I do it on my website, but I think I do it on my website. It would be amazing if I could actually find it. I don't know if I'll be able to find it quickly. If I can find it quickly, I'll show you. No, I can't remember. I have it somewhere on my website. Maybe it's my about page. It is my about page. I'm glad I found it. Let me show this to you really quick on how I do this. Darcy, Darcy, I don't even think you know you're on here. So this is my about page where I talk about the business, but then I introduce a line from a testimonial or something nice that someone has said about me. So you see how I'm kind of like integrating these things throughout. And I could do more. I just don't want it to seem braggy. Oh, you did. You saw this. I had the biggest smile on my face when I put that in there. I was like, look at this guy. But that was something nice that Darcy had said about me, and Cicely and Eileen, I think, and the Shalleys in there as well. So you could write an article and you could do that. So that's one option for you. And let me see if there's any other questions that have come in while we've been sitting here. There you go. I really hope I pronounced your name right, Badmus. I hope I did. It's a cool name, even if it's not pronounced that way. But that's a pretty cool name, Badmus. Badmus Rashid. That is a pretty cool name. You won't find that name in a Dr. Seuss book. Or maybe you would. Maybe you would. All right, guys. Yeah. It also could, yeah. Or you could start a garage band and name it that as well. Badmus Rashid and the something. I don't know. I'm at a loss. Jeremy will tell us. Badmus Rashid. What's Badmus's garage band name? Badmus Rashid and the Doppelgangers. I came up with that myself. Badmus Rashid and the Doppelgangers. You can see that on a marquee somewhere. Somebody says it sounds like, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to say that. Okay. So that was your big, hard LinkedIn talk today. What else you guys want to talk about? I will talk about anything else. We talked about LinkedIn. We talked about. Somebody says, do you recommend someone building on LinkedIn someone who's building on LinkedIn regularly to call their connections that aren't interacting? So that's a hard thing for a lot of people to do, which is get rid of connections that aren't interacting. Yeah, it is recommended. I don't do it because it takes time and it's just not a high priority. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. It's a good idea to do a couple of things. It's a good idea to figure out who is a real or a fake connection. I sent a connection request yesterday to somebody that now I'm positive is not a real person. I think it's a good idea to get rid of, to purge, to do a purge like that. It's also a good idea to determine if somebody's a fake connection, a fake person or not. So here's what's happening. Pull up a chair, guys. Let me tell you about this. Here's what's happening. And this has been happening for a long time. This is not like a new scenario. But we used to call them server farms, but they're not really even server farms anymore. Imagine like an apartment that has rows and rows of racks. And on those racks are phones, hundreds, if not thousands of phones. It's probably more like thousands of phones. And these phones are connected to a network, and they all go back to a central, pretty high-powered computer. And using software, these thousands of phones from one location, from this computer, can use spinning technology to rephrase messaging and push messaging out to platforms via fake accounts, or start fake conversations with you to try to get you to do something. So like this exists right now, and this is happening right now as we speak. And it's, I wish I could remember the percentage of accounts that they say are fake. We could Google that one. But what's happening is they're not doing this just to casually mess with you. They're doing this to shift your perception on topics. So for example, they could get you to buy something because you all of a sudden one day could see thousands of people all talking about this new MP3 or this new Bluetooth radio that functions as a karaoke device as well, with a purchase link. You could see thousands of messages from seemingly real people. But what they're doing is they're trying to shift your perception, largely used politically, where they will show up and they will send a political message to try to shift your perception, shift your beliefs about something political. And so just imagine an apartment with thousands of phones all controlled by one computer, and with the push of a button over several hours, a message is shapeshifted and pushed out to all the platforms thousands of times. So I came across, I'll show you how I like use my smarts to figure this out. So I sent a connection request yesterday to a dude on LinkedIn, and I can't remember that person's name. Oh, it's right here. It's this person right here. It's this person right here, which I believe is a fake person. I believe this is a fake person. And on the collab call yesterday, we tried to do, hey, Terrence, if you happen to see this, Terrence, and you're a real person, please do accept my most sincere apologies. But I want to show you what this looks like in practice. So first of all, that's not him, right? That's not him. This is a fake person. This is a person. This is a fake profile, I believe, that is looking to shapeshift a perception about political beliefs. So if we look at their content, let's look at their content. Let's look at their posts. I did this yesterday. So it's all kind of the same. It's all kind of the same, right? Take a look at this. It's all kind of the same. So he's presenting a conservative. Oh, you're not seeing my screen. Sorry. Did I not share my screen? That's because I'm silly sometimes. Let's go back here. All right. So this dude yesterday on the collab call, thanks for telling me, Darcy, I appreciate that. This dude yesterday on the collab call, we were screwing around with LinkedIn, and we came across his profile. And I think this is a fake profile. And somebody on the collab call yesterday said that this picture is used with a lot of fake profiles that go after veterans. So like there's something about this picture here. Let's see what it is about this picture. Let's go to Face++ and go to the emotion recognition engine. And let's upload that picture. Oh, say goodbye to the next hour of my life. AJ. The zoom in helps. Did I get it right the first try? I did. Let's see what it is about this dude's face. Happiness and disgust. He is happy that he has a comfortable chair to sit in on a porch. He is disgusted with you because you don't follow his political beliefs. Anyway, that somebody told me yesterday that this picture is widely used to promote, like, to target veterans, which is unfortunate. So here's what I did yesterday, just for a few minutes. I looked at his posts, right? And then I looked at the posts that had comments. And look at, it's just like, you think this guy's just sitting around doing this? I don't think so. So then I looked at some of the comments, and then you look at some of the people who are commenting. And I think you get some real people. Like, this seems like a real person. But let's see. That'll be it. I want to see if I can find. There was one person that seemed very interesting to me. But like, there's just like a lot of people. Like, okay, let's look at this profile here. This one could be a real profile. Let's go. So reposting stuff here, not a real company. You know how you can tell somebody doesn't have a real company because there's no icon here. So there's no, like, and what is this? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I work for the XXXXXXX company too. I do. It's on my business card. So then, like, you start to look at their content, and either just people are really terrible at this stuff. But look, it's kind of the same thing. So maybe this is a real person, but maybe not. And like, they don't even have this, right? So we got that. I really want to try to find for you. Maybe it's in this one. This one profile that really struck. Here it is. This person right here. I'm convinced this is, I don't know. Let's go here. Let's take a look at Angela Tyner. So says she's from North Carolina. Yeah, right? Her company, however, is in California, is in Los Angeles, California, and she went to Harvard. So there's your Harvard graduate right there. And was that judgy? Right? I find that most of the fake profiles say they went to Harvard Business School. But so she lives in North Carolina. Her company's in California. Hey, Angela, I'll buy you a coffee if like you're real. And I'm here, like, and then you start to look at her videos, right? So then we look at her videos, and her videos, like, this is what really makes me feel like this is a fake profile. What a wonderful day. And here's just a video of me standing on the street. Oh, yeah. What a wonderful day. Now, this video could have been snatched from Instagram with this picture. And see what I mean? God. I'm willing to bet that you would be able to find a real person on Instagram that is this real person, and this stuff has been snatched and they're just using it on LinkedIn for attention grabbing. I bet that's what's happening. It's Girls' Day. Here I am on LinkedIn. It's Girls' Day. And because it's a hot day, I have two appointments in the city. I'm going to dress comfortably. Okay. It's a fake profile. And these fake profiles just like float around trying to shape your perception about things. You have to be extremely judicious about this. So you can see Terrence Evanson is just using a formula here. Something polarizing and a very short I wish this had an A. I wish if this had an A, this would totally confirm it. And the low amount of connections is telling, but a lot of followers, here. So that's a fake profile. Terrence is a fake person here. Sadly. Sadly. But he's a visionary. And they're trying to, so who's behind this? Who's behind this is, let's say you and me decide we're going to do this. We got to spend $20,000 to get a bunch of phones that we're going to put into a room. $20,000, that's not even going to get us enough phones. Well, I guess we could get entry-level Android phones. So it might get us a lot of phones. So we got to get $20,000 together. We're going to get a bunch of phones together. We're going to put these things in a room. We're going to get all the necessary software to plug them all in together so that and then we're going to create 20 accounts per phone, different profiles. We're going to scrape the internet to get pictures, and we're going to create all these fake profiles. And then we're going to have this software is going to allow us to post on all the platforms. And then we're going to market ourselves. We're going to go to Pringles and we're going to say, hey, Pringles, listen, you got a new jalapeno Pringle coming out and you want everybody talking about it? Well, how about if inside of an hour we had 20,000 people talking about it? LinkedIn is not smart enough to block this stuff. I will tell you this. Ready? Here. I'm going to share some very hard information with you. It's not hard information. It's just very interesting information. Listen up. The platforms aren't as smart as you think they are. They're smart to a point, but they're not as smart as you think they are. And soon in the mastermind, I'm going to reveal to you some really interesting testing that we're doing right now, where we have orchestrated and analyzed. As you know, I have access to thousands of social accounts from me and my peers in something that we call the big database. We were able to silo accounts that have similar characteristics. And we are across TikTok and YouTube placing short form content that is extremely similar across all the accounts. And what we're finding is, that it's more random than it is algorithmic. We're finding that the systems aren't as algorithmic in promoting your content as you might think. This is the initial, that it's more, oh, it's Tuesday at 3 p.m. I know I had to use it. I had to use the A word. It's much more random than algorithmic. What encouraged us to do this was a couple of people who, after a year of posting with no results, suddenly got thousands of views one day across all their videos. I'm like, come on, let's try to reverse engineer why this is. So that study is happening right now. I will bring those results to you in the mastermind. By the way, if you're here watching this on YouTube, thanks for being here. Grateful that you're here. Why aren't you in the mastermind? You can learn more about it by going to HTTP. I should probably get one with an S. Just go to prouty.me. Or go to my website, go to 9twice.com. And if this is you, if you want to make more money, and if you want to get your clients better results, and you want to have a ton of fun with the coolest people around, and you want to do it for less than the price of coffee, I want to work with you. It's like less than the price of coffee. I want to work with you. It's as simple as that. I want to get you those things. So go to prouty.me, get on my calendar. And let's make that happen for you and your business. Let's make it happen. It's not as hard as you think. And when you have a group of people who are cheering you on and supporting you, I'm just going to use the initials TA. Thanks for getting on my calendar. I just saw that meeting come in. TA, wherever you are, whoever you are, if you're still out there. All right, as we approach 1 minute to the top of the hour, what was your biggest takeaway from our time together today? Oh, look who it is here on YouTube with the double high five, Michelle. Thanks for being here. I hate to, there's so many people on YouTube right now, and you guys are here. I hate to shut this thing down if you still have questions, but if you don't, if you don't have questions, we can wrap this up. If you're just showing up now on YouTube, you're gonna have to watch the replay to learn how to use LinkedIn messaging. Somebody said the discussion about the fake people was valuable to them. Awesome. Anybody else with a takeaway? Yeah, we'll be together in 1 hour. Mastermind people, coffee in 1 hour's time. I'm going to try to get a little cardio between now and then. I'm going to do a little bit of work, a little bit of cardio, and then we'll be together for coffee in 1 hour's time. Awesome. All right. You know where to go for that. Thank you very much. How many times do you see me pick this thing up and go to drink? And I actually never do. Oh, somebody said that their biggest takeaway was that there's only 30 days in September. It's a short month. Yeah, you got to get serious. It's time to get serious on Sunday. It's a short month. So make your numbers for August. Get serious on Sunday. Let's shut down the YouTube thing because I like to have that clean cut. How do I do